Bloodlines don't just tell you where you come from. Sometimes they tell you what was hidden. This episode, Castor begins to question the legacy the book has shown him and what it claims about Sara's past. Far from Earth, the Oblivion Covenant tightens its grip, sending hunters and manipulators toward a future they believe they can still control. And across time itself, the artifact opens a door not to answers, but to origins, forcing Sara to confront choices her ancestors made and the cost they may still demand. This is Curvature Chronicles, and the past is no longer done with them.
The air in Castor's apartment felt heavier than usual, though nothing had changed. Books were stacked against the wall, Sara's jacket still draped over the chair she'd claimed as her own. Sara herself still half-draped over Castor, their shared warmth comforting them both. The faint hum of the refrigerator filled the silence. Yet something unseen pressed down, thick and suffocating. He looked at her. She was already staring at him, as if sensing his turmoil.
"So, Castor, you want to order a pizza and some coffee?"
Sara said, voice deliberately light. Castor broke.
No, not right now. Sara, can I ask you something? About your family?
Her head tilted slightly, violet hair catching the lamplight. She studied him, frowning.
"What about them?"
Ever since the book had dragged him back through the Viking Age, through his own blood's legacy, he hadn't been able to shake the words Freydis had spoken, that Sara's clan was tainted. It rattled around in him like a bell that refused to still.
It's just, when the book shows me things, I see how my people were chosen. Keepers, Freydis called them. Protectors of whatever the book really is. She implied that I was part of her clan. But she said your clan was different, that they'd been tainted. I don't know what that means.
Sara blinked once, twice, then sat back, her expression carefully schooled, though her hands tightened into fists in her lap.
"Tainted."
That's what she said. I don't understand it either. I just thought maybe you would.
"I don't."
Her tone had the sharpness of a blade unsheathed.
"No one in my family has ever spoken of that. My mother told me our blood carried strength, our adaptability, our endurance, not corruption."
Her words rang with conviction, but the way her gaze slid away betrayed her. Castor leaned forward.
Sara, what if there are things you haven't been told? Things your family wanted hidden?
The muscles in her jaw tightened. She stared at the floor, then the wall, then back at him, as though trying to anchor herself.
My family has always been quiet, reclusive even among our own people. I used to think it was just a cultural quirk. Maybe it was shame. Maybe there is something buried there. But tainted? That sounds like a curse, like something inherited.
Castor felt a pang of guilt. His heart ached for her. He hadn't meant to wound her, only to share what he'd been told.
Sara, I don't think it means you. You've risked yourself for me more than once. You're nothing like...
Like what? A traitor? A heretic?
She bit the words back, swallowing them like poison. The silence that followed was brittle. Finally, Sara stood, pacing to the window. Outside, the night city glimmered, ignorant of the galaxies that warred beyond it. Her reflection hovered in the glass, a warrior's stance, but with shoulders slumped under a weight she had only now begun to feel.
If my clan was tainted, then I need to know why. And what it means for me. For us.
She turned back to him, her eyes glinting with a mix of anger and fear.
Because if what Freydis said is true, then my whole life has been a lie.
Castor rose, wanting to reach her, but uncertain if he should. The space between them felt wide as a battlefield. The book on the table shifted, pages fluttering without wind. Neither of them noticed. The private room off the council chambers was silent, except for the soft hiss of recycled air. Oryx Station floated in the void, a glimmering lattice of metal and energy, its observation windows revealing nothing but stars and the faint blue haze of nearby nebulae. Telis Bar leaned against the polished console, her silver robes shifting like liquid metal. She tapped a slender finger against the control panel, eyes narrowing.
It should have been simple. The artifact should never have left Andromeda. Yet here we are, Zorathians meddling, humans interfering, and that anomaly, Castor Ames.
Triel Van, seated across from her with legs crossed, fingers clicking softly against the armrest, let a slow smile curl across her face. Her tone was silky, but every word carried sharp intent.
Anomaly. He's exactly what we need. A pawn strong enough to unlock the book, yet weak enough to bend.
Telis Bar shook her head, voice like ice.
A pawn? Do you not see the danger? The Kren assassin has failed. The artifact resists him. The human grows stronger with each jump, each sinking. You engineered Vra'shek for perfection, yet he struggles against a mere human descendant.
Ah, but you misunderstand, Telis. Perfection isn't brute strength. It's manipulation. He is only a tool to be shaped, and once he is, everything changes. We will control the future through him.
And Sara? The girl who meddles, who shields him at every turn. She cannot be allowed to interfere. I've already secured her recall order. The council agreed. She must observe, not engage. Any action now could compromise everything.
Triel Van tilted her head, observing the strategist with a predator's patience.
Observe, yes, but do not underestimate her either. She will question, she will resist. I want her out of the way, but alive. For now. If she dies, Ames may refuse to bond. The book may shift its bond entirely. That could be inconvenient.
2 agents are already en route to Earth. Their mission is clear. Secure the book and, if necessary, eliminate any interference. I will not tolerate failure again. The Kren assassin must be recovered, his loyalty reinforced.
And when the book is finally under our control?
The universe will follow the Covenant's design. Zorathian DNA, the portals, the artifact itself. Nothing can be left to chance. The Kren are dangerous, yes, but they are the experiment, the test. The true prize is what we protect from them, and through them, what we shape ourselves.
Triel Van reclined, eyes glinting with ambition.
And when it is done, Telis, the power will be mine as much as yours.
Do not overreach. There is work to be done. Focus on the path, Triel. The artifact does not forgive ambition.
Outside the reinforced viewport, the stars drifted silently past Oryx Station. Within, 2 of the most dangerous members of the Oblivion Covenant planned moves that would ripple across galaxies, oblivious to the humans and Zorathians whose lives they manipulated like threads in a tapestry. The void outside the Oort cloud was silent, cold, and endless. A sleek craft glimmered against the backdrop of ice and scattered comets, piloted by Oblivion Covenant agents bound for Earth. The pilot, Tauren Vek, broke the silence first.
Coordinates confirmed. Hexagonal storm gate active. Transit window is narrow. We will hit it, of course.
Her partner, Silas Rek, adjusted the energy gate modulator.
OC High Command directives are clear. The artifact secured at all costs. Do not engage unless absolutely necessary. Human and Zorathian interference is expected. We will then, of course, do what we think is necessary.
Once we pass through the Saturn Gate, Earth will be within reach in 12 standard hours. High Command insists no traces remain of our entry or approach. Minimal disturbance.
Silas Rek's hands tapped softly against the console.
And the Kren? Are we to integrate him into our plan or isolate him entirely?
The directives are explicit. He is a tool only. The artifact supersedes his utility. Preserve his life if convenient, eliminate if not. Allow him to fulfill his mission if possible. We follow protocol. Earth is primitive. The artifact's guardian, unpredictable. Our sponsor at High Command is confident, but I do not like surprises.
Surprises are why we were chosen.
On Earth, Sarah's thoughts were restless. The book glimmered faintly at Castor's apartment, still bound to him but silent for the moment. Her mind, however, could not rest. She made her way to the Four Corners and opened a secure link to Vra'shek.
Riss, I need some clarification about my family. There are gaps, discrepancies, things I've discovered, things the artifact has shown me. I don't understand.
Sara, your work has been exemplary. The Earth artifact is stabilizing only because of your vigilance. It's probably attempting to sway you to its will as well as the human boy. High Command is aware of your efforts, and we are all impressed with your dedication.
I'm asking about my lineage. The artifact indicated that my lineage was tainted. Any idea what it was referring to? You trained with my grandmother and knew my parents. I only agreed to this posting because you were my handler.
Your lineage is remarkable, Sara. Yes, I knew your parents. You carry the strength and talent of generations, and it shows in how you've handled the artifact situation. That is what matters here. The Council is pleased, and your focus and work on Earth are invaluable to us.
So Vra'shek, is this a can't or won't answer my question scenario?
Questions have a way of complicating things unnecessarily. You're doing exactly what is needed, Sara. That is enough.
The line went silent as she ended the connection, leaving Sarah with a familiar knot in her chest. She stared out at the city below, the night alive with human lights, and realized that the truths about her past would have to wait. Or perhaps, she thought, she would have to discover them herself. Castor's name echoed in her mind. The dimly lit alley behind the abandoned warehouse was thick with Earth's cold air, a temperature that gnawed at Vra'shek's flesh like ice against steel. His breathing was slow, controlled, but every inhale carried a reminder. The planet's environment was weakening him, degrading the augmentations he had once relied on. He crouched atop the fire escape, eyes scanning the street below, muscles taut with barely contained frustration.
I will not be underestimated, and I will not rely on these puppets the Covenant sends.
He was aware, of course, that 2 Oblivion Covenant agents were en route from the Oort Cloud, their ship already threading the gate. The thought should have been reassuring, or at least their assistance, but instead it was an insult. They think I need help? Vra'shek's claws scraped along the metal railing.
I am Vra'shek, warrior of the Kren Collective. The book itself hesitates at my presence, not because I am weak, but because it knows I will bend it to my will.
His mind replayed the painful procedures he had undergone to force his DNA closer to triple helix compatibility. A human? A descendant? The thought had seared his pride. And yet, he realized that brute force alone would not suffice anymore. He flexed his fingers, focusing inward, searching for a rhythm in his own energy. Years of conditioning, genetic augmentation, and tactical training surged to the surface. Slowly, deliberately, he began a sequence of controlled meditations and internal manipulations, drawing strength from the smallest reserves of his triple helix-like conditioning, enough to stabilize his weakening form.
The artifact is mine, the human is mine, and the girl, she is only a complication, not an obstacle.
He rose from the fire escape, moving silently along the rooftops, every sense tuned to the faint hum of the book. It calls him, it pulses with his presence, and I will bend it again. As Vra'shek began stalking through the city, he plotted carefully. Follow Castor, observe every movement, and reclaim the artifact. The Covenant's agents were irrelevant. He needed no help. In fact, he would make their arrival his advantage, using them to distract the humans, to manipulate the situation to his own design. By nightfall, Vra'shek had traced the pulse of the book to a familiar location, Castor's last known position. The chase had begun again, and this time he would not fail. The hum of the artifact filled the small cafe, before it drew them both into nothingness. One moment, Sara and Castor were sitting across from each other, slurping coffee and tea, and the next, they were suspended in soft, golden light, weightless and disoriented. The familiar pull of the book's portal was different this time, purposeful, deliberate, as though it wanted them to see something. When their vision cleared, they stood on the edge of a lush, terraced landscape that shimmered in colors Sara had never seen outside old Holocene simulations. 2 figures walked along the terraces, their forms unmistakably Zorathian. Sara's breath caught, her pulse raced as recognition sparked.
At least one of them is my ancestor.
Castor followed her gaze.
You know them?
Well, yes and no. I never met them. They were gone long before I was born. But from the records, from pictures, I've seen them in archives. My family line. But they should be long gone.
The 2 Zorathians moved with quiet urgency, speaking in low tones. We cannot follow orders blindly. Not this time, Salon.
And yet we disobey, leaving people behind. On Zora. While you go on your pilgrimage aboard the Ark Arendor, and I aboard the Endus Pau.
Sara's hands clenched, her violet hair catching the light.
What is going on?
Castor reached for her arm.
Sara, we'll figure this out. They're making their choices. You can't...
No, she said Arendor. That was one of the 4 Ark ships, the one sent across this part of the universe to the Milky Way. I have to know why. I have to find out what happened, and if I can fix it.
The artifact glowed faintly at his side. Warmth traveled up his arm, a quiet, insistent presence in his mind. You can right this wrong. Not here, but in the now, it seemed to whisper, subtle but undeniable. Sara's gaze hardened, determination etching itself across her face.
Castor, I need to research this, everything. I need to trace what they did, why they did it, and see if I can make it right.
Then I'll help you, step by step. But don't lose yourself in it. Whatever the book shows you, whatever your ancestors did, we face it together.
She looked at him, her breath heavy, eyes a storm of grief and resolve. Slowly, she squeezed his hand.
Together.
The portal flashed again, golden light stretching around them, the book humming softly. In that hum, Sara felt a faint, guiding presence, not telling her what to do, but affirming that she could act, could influence the course of her own bloodline, and perhaps the future of the artifact itself. For a moment, the past, present, and future felt connected, fragile threads weaving through her mind. And in that fragile weave, Sara found her purpose, and a resolve that neither time nor covenant orders could sever. The derelict warehouse on the city's east side reeked of oxidized metal and stale coolant. Few ever came here anymore. That was the point. It provided the privacy needed for meetings not meant to happen, involving people not meant to be there, or anywhere else on Earth, for that matter. Vra'shek arrived first, his gait uneven, but still predatory, like a noble beast walking on broken legs. The atmosphere chafed against his lungs, and his skin had paled to a near bluish hue under Earth's relentless chill. He compensated with spite, with the fire that smoldered in his eyes. When the two Oblivion Covenant agents entered, cloaked in the muted violet of secrecy, he did not bother to rise. Instead, he tilted his head back and let out a rasping laugh.
So, Zorathian High Command sends children to hold my hand. Two would-be saboteurs from the edge of some cloud, playing at being indispensable. Tell me, do you think I am blind? I know you've come because they believe Vra'shek has failed.
Talrin Vek, sharp-eyed and quick to bristle, stepped forward.
You speak out of turn, Kren. You may be our weapon, but you are not our equal. Do not mistake tolerance for respect.
Vra'shek bared his teeth, serrated and wolfish.
Respect? From you? I have lived through storms that would crush your frail frames into dust. I have walked on worlds your bloodline has only heard whispered in bedtime tales. And yet you arrive here unscathed, thinking you are my overseers. I need no help, especially not from ornamental agents with polished boots.
Silas Reck raised a hand, a calming gesture that masked calculation. Unlike his partner, his voice was smooth, patient.
Vra'shek, listen. High Command's concern is not your strength. None of us doubt what you can do. The question is precision. You've hunted the artifact long enough to know how delicate the balance has become. If you are the hammer, then we are the scalpel. Together, the strike cannot miss.
For a long moment, silence filled the warehouse, broken only by Vra'shek's labored breathing. His claws scraped against the steel chair. Then, with a contemptuous snarl, he rose, towering over them.
Do as you please. Scurry in shadows, whisper in your councils, pretend that your schemes matter. But remember this, when I tear the artifact from the hands of that undeserving half-breed, it will not be because of you. It will be despite you.
He stalked from the warehouse, shoulders squared, pride intact, his parting laughter echoing against the corroded walls. Talrin spat on the floor.
Arrogant beast. He should be put down before his ego ruins everything.
Silas only watched the exit, expression unreadable.
Yes, that arrogance is proof enough. You see it, don't you? He is one of their elite. This is why they must never have access to the rest of the universe.
Everything is tightening now. Castor is forced to confront what the book says about his bloodline and what it might mean for Sara's. The Oblivion Covenant is no longer watching from a distance. Their agents are moving, their plans sharpening. And Vra'shek, wounded but far from broken, is done waiting. The hunt is on, and this time, no one is pretending it's controlled. If you're enjoying Curvature Chronicles, help us keep bending reality. Download the episode, leave a rating or review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. It makes a real difference. Until next time, keep your eyes on the curve.